Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about Reeve knives, or CRK. I recently was like, hey, I should probably review some Reeve knives because it's kind of a running thing in the group that the circle I hang out in with Kyle from D2M Knives and Gear, Jake from Bearded Gear, Chris from Grady's Gear. We kind of hate on CRK a little bit. And, I wanted to get them in and just kind of give my take on them so that it's out there. And so I'm not just saying things. I actually have experience with them, right? Also, I actually have owned a small Sebenza 31 Lefty. About a year and a half ago, I had that when my daughter was born, pretty much is when I got it. So I do have experience, so what I say is not just based off of what other people say or what I see. I've experienced it firsthand. I've also reviewed the large right-handed Inkosi with inlays. I have some experience, but I wanted to try some lefties out, handle it for my hand, and try a model I hadn't tried yet, and then kind of go from there. I will say I still am kind of interested in getting a PJ large Sebenza 31, but they're hard to find. Or 21 Lefty, but they're hard to find, and I still don't know if I'd love it. I hate these thumb studs, but we'll get into that. So first off, this right here is the large Inkosi. This is the left-handed version. You can see right here. Pardon my dog if you can hear him. My neighbors are moving to a retirement home, and there's people outside, and I really want to go yell at him right now, but it's not going to help, so I'm not going to do it. So this is the plain Jane, or PJ, if you hear that, which means no inlays, and I prefer that because I don't want my knife being thicker for no reason, really. Their micarta doesn't really... It's just like hard micarta to me, so it didn't make sense for me. This definitely feels way better in my hand than the right-handed one with the inlays I had in. I think it's just because of the inlays. This one has the Insingo blade, so you can get the Inkosi in a large and a small. So this is a 3.5-inch blade, I think, or 3.6, and then the 3.5, I think, and then the small, which is, I think, right around 3 inches, maybe a little under 3 inches. I could be wrong about that. Could be a little over. There you go. So maybe it is more like 3.6, because this is 3.5 on the Vero. So yeah, I mean, this could be a lot more than 3.6. Hold on. Or 3.5. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole now, but that's what I tend to do. So let's see. So they're going to call it 3.5 probably, because from the scale tip right here, it just seems a little longer to me, because this is 3.5, right? Oh, yeah, 3.5. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can Google the specs, okay? So, yeah, it comes in this Insingo blade, which is kind of a sheep's foot blade. Warney sheep's foot, and then it comes in a drop point. That's the standard, and then it comes in a Tanto, which is, I'd obviously prefer a Tanto. I love Tantos. I just think the look on the Sebenza, Inkosi, and like Medford, Slim Midi, I just think the Tanto looks best, in my opinion. Same with this knife. So it comes in those, and then you can get it. The Inkosi comes with double lug, so double thumb stud on every model, which is kind of cool, because the Sebenzas come with one stud. What else? The Inkosi has these finger grooves. That's kind of the difference. The Sebenza is just a straight handle. The 21 has a different pivot system than the Inkosi and the 31 Sebenzas. You guys probably know all this. This has a KME edge. I'm trying to think of anything else that's different, or like something I should note. It's left-handed, obviously. This one has a Rips Garage Tech clip on it, and it is excellent. This really is an excellent clip in pocket. Although the small Sebenza I had a Lynch Deep Carry clip, which was great for in pocket, but it sucked in the hand. So I don't really know much about the stock clip, but I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, so it runs on washers, as you can see here. I won't take this apart just because I'm probably selling it. I got it yesterday, unboxed it on the live stream, and yes, I'm already thinking about selling it. I know, I'm a crazy man. But yeah, so that's the Inkosi. It's in S35VN, this one. They come in S45 now, I think. And this one was born in January of 2021, I think January 29th or 19th. This is the, god damn it, I can't open it ever, is the Umnumzaan. And this is a knife I really wanted to check out. This is what started all this. I kept seeing people say the Umnumzaan was like the most carried knife they had last year. I think Best Damn EDC said that. Fuck, who else said it? Somebody I really follow and like a lot said that. So I was looking on the secondary trying to find one, and somebody reached out and said they had one, but I just wasn't sure if I'd love it. So I didn't jump on it right away. And then a good buddy, Benjamin from Jack Wolf Knives, Benny from Jack Wolf Knives, absolutely a fantastic human being. One of the best dudes on the planet. If you haven't had a chance to interact with Ben, please do. He's a lefty, which is awesome. He's a fellow lefty, and he has some Chris Reeve knives because he's a traditional knife guy, right? Mostly he's a slip joint guy. So it makes sense to me that he would like Chris Reeves because they're slow roll type knives, right? Instead of being like reverse flicked and drop shut. It makes sense. That transition from slip joint to folding knife or locking knife makes sense going to a Chris Reeve, right? Hope that makes sense to you guys. But anyway, he loaned me this, which was awesome. He told me I wasn't allowed to take it apart, but he definitely wanted some of my ball juice in there. So I'm working on that. I'll squeeze some out later and drop it in there. So I just gotta get the press and, you know, I'll work it out. Don't worry. So anyway, sorry. This is a hollow grind. I should have mentioned that. This is also a hollow grind, which is cool. They're not very deep hollow grinds, but they are hollow grinds, and they're pretty cool. I definitely like a hollow grind. The Umnumzaan, pricing. So these start at $450 in the plain Jane, and then it's like $550 with inlays. They go up to crazy amounts, but I think it's like 6 something or 7 something with bog oak and like Damascus. They come in left hand and right hand. So do these. This comes in a drop point or a tanto. Those are the only configurations. And then it comes in lefty or righty. Excuse me. They have this double harpoon, which is kind of cool. Reminds me of my Brian Brown Knives Raptor. See there? Very similar blade shape. Holy cow, I didn't even notice that. I'll tell you right now, I prefer the Raptor because it does that and that and that. So, just saying. Yeah, but I like that. It has these stupid rings on the thumb studs, which is supposed to dampen the sound, which is dumb. Because if you're a knife guy, you like the sound, right? I was messing with this last night, and it doesn't flick very well. I can flick it. But, like, I got to wrist it, basically, right? I can reverse flick it if I wrist it. That's not really satisfying. If you see my video about that, about being satisfied, this would not qualify. But for a slow roll it is. Listen to this. You hear that? Man, does that sound good. And then just very awesome on the acoustics. Now listen to this fucking thing. What? Get out of here. And that's because these are the blade stops. And when they hit the scale, it dampens everything. And I think they did that to be tactical, which is fucking stupid. I don't know why you're trying to be tactical with your pocket knife. Like, I'm not walking into a war zone with my Umnumzaan and pulling it out to fucking gut a dude around the corner and, you know, I got to James Bond it. So, guys, shh. He's going to hear it. He's going to hear my knife. He's going to hear my knife. Oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. That was silent, right? This is me around the corner. Yo, dude, I'm coming to get you. Sorry. I just think that's so dumb that that's a thing. So it kind of ruins the sound for me. Of course, I could probably take those off. I don't know how the lockup would be if you took them off because they're kind of operating on that band, which is fucking weird in my opinion. But yeah, isn't that weird? So those are the knives, right? I believe these start at $450. Same as this, obviously. I don't think these come in inlays or anything, just Tanto and lefty and righty. Okay, so let me overview my thoughts on each, and then we'll wrap this up with a Chris Reeve overview, right? So first off, the thumb studs on the Inkosi that come stock are absolutely fucking brutal. I had the same problem with my small Sebenza. My thumb already hurts. Look at that white spot. Now, I have a callus from flicking knives, right? But I'm not a big thumb stud guy, so that callus is, you know, probably from the Raptor, but so I'm not like a bitch. I wouldn't say I'm like the thumb stud king and my thumb is fucking baller out, but baller out, yeah, Kev, that's right. But it fucking hurts to push this knife out constantly. And I'm the guy who does this all day, right? Like I want to do this all day. I don't want to just take my knife out to cut stuff. Like I would, you know, barely ever take it out. That would suck. So I just hate these thumb studs, and I don't understand how after 20 fucking years, sorry for the cursing, guys, I don't understand after 20 years we're still dealing with these thumb studs. What is going on over there? I mean, at least just put freaking different thumb studs on the damn thing. Nobody likes them. Everybody switches them. Not everybody, but a lot of people switch them out. People are cutting holes in the damn blade because of these thumb studs. Like, come on. And if you're going to not do that, then at least make them easily removable. I don't know. God damn it. So anyway, I hate the thumb studs. And it's obviously, like I said, not a flick knife. You can if you really try. But, and this is actually, like, not on grease. It's on, like, KPL. It's tuned pretty well by my buddy I bought it off of. It does not drop. So, I mean, I could mess with it, but honestly, I don't want to. So, thumb stud kind of hurts, right? The lock bar access on this is pretty good. There's no stick or anything. There's no lock bar insert, but there's no stick, so I don't care. But it's kind of stiff, to be honest, the lock bar. And after a while, I'm beating my fucking thumb up with the stud, and then I'm beating it up on the lock bar. It's just not enjoyable to do this over and over, which I get it, guys. If you're a Sebenza guy, you probably don't do it over and over, right? Unless you have one that's tuned like perfectly, it's like drop shutty and all that stuff. I know there are ones out there. I think a hole mod would really work on this knife because then it wouldn't hurt my thumb. I just, you know, it had to be in the right place and everything, but ergos. So I think the ergos on this are quite comfortable. I would say these ridges, I would prefer to just have the flat Sebenza handle. That's what I wanted, was a Sebenza. But my buddy reached out and had this, and it's really hard to get Sebenzas right now for lefty. Really, any CRK, nothing's in stock. It's comfortable. I got to give it that. It's not perfect for my hand. It actually feels better right-handed than left, but it feels good. You can kind of choke up into this. If I kept this, I would probably do the whole mod or change studs. And I would probably ask somebody to sort of cut a choil in here and maybe even trim this down if possible and just give me a real forward finger choil, because that would be dope. I don't know why Chris Reeve, it's been how many years since this knife came out or the Sebenza came out. Innovate a little bit. You don't even have to go crazy and make it a drop shut guillotine. Like, just give me a new model with a choil, you know, on bearings, maybe, I don't know, or just change the fucking studs and give me a choil. I'd be so much happier with this knife. It would be nice to have a little more access to the bar so I could get more meat on it and push it out of the way, but it's not really an issue. It's smooth, right? It's got that Sebenza smooth. I would not call it glassy. Like, this to me is hydraulic, right? Like, this is hydraulic, because in my mind, hydraulic means think about it. What is hydraulic? It means something is powering the blade open, right? It's something's powering your fucking your fucking lowrider off the ground, right? It doesn't just magically do it. My thumb is that power, right? So to me, that's hydraulic because it's really smooth and it's good, guys. It's on these washers. I like it. I do. I think it's actually pretty satisfying to slow roll this knife when it's not beating the shit out of your thumb, you know? But I love the sounds, you know? It can be enjoyable, right? So for the people out there that like that stuff, more power to you. That's awesome. For me personally, I prefer a reverse flick and then watching my knife drop, right? That to me is just more enjoyable. And I can slow roll knives. I like slow rolling knives, but it's just a little bit different. It's a little more quick, I guess, is the thinking there. It's a little quicker, and that for me is more satisfying. So it just comes down to that for you, right? The edge is really good. Again, it's a KME edge from my buddy. So it's not really going to show you much, but I'm sure it's going to slice like a beast. Yeah. It's cool. I love the finish on Chris Reeve knives. That's why I like the plain Janes as well. This is one of my favorite finishes, so I got to give them that. They absolutely kill it. I know people say, it's snail trails. Oh my God, you're going to see the scratches on your knife. Well, that means you carry your knife. That means you use your knife. Like, what's wrong with that shit, right? I mean, it depends on the situation, but I like that. Now, I don't like it when, like this knife, I accidentally fucking run it against, you know, the fucking thing on my jeans and scratch it. That's not fun wear and tear, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so anyway, I do like this knife. The crown spine is really nice. I like the Insingo blade. You could get out here and do your cuts. Now, honestly, I think maybe, see, that's why I want to try a large Sebenza Lefty. This is like, it fits my hand well, but it almost seems a little too big for me for what I like to do. So I'm almost thinking like a small Sebenza with an Insingo would be good for me, because then I could get the pinch grip and do the label cutting, and maybe just having a smaller knife would be better. I don't know. I do like it. It's got a little weight to it. It rides really well in pocket. I will say it was an adjustment for me coming from using a lot of right-handed knives. Now, I do have a couple left-handed knives. I have the Field Duty from Liang Ma, left-handed, and I have the Cuff version 2 from Liang Ma, left-handed. So, I mean, it's not like I don't know how to use lefties, but I've never had an issue. I guess that's because I reverse flick these, so I don't have to worry about the lock bar. But even then, I can thumb flick these real easy, no problem, right? Like, this one's not as good because of the access, but I mean, I can slow roll it out real easy. I'm not locking it up, you know what I mean? What was going on there? Was it bouncing off the... I think I'm just used to these now that I'm throwing the blade down. So I have lefties, right? But I've been having issues being on the lock bar on these Chris Reeves. Like, not so much this Inkosi, but this thing, man. I am always on that lock bar, and it's just like, ugh. So I've realized I have to be down, like, on the clip. I'm, like, learning how to use a frame lock, because I'm so used to having the frame lock on this side, you know, because I'm left-handed. So anyway, I'm getting used to that, and yeah. So I do really like this knife. And I think it has a place, for sure. I will say, out of the blade shapes, I think the Insingo is the ugliest. It might be the most usable and functional blade shape, which is why people like it. But it's ugly as hell. It's not a good-looking sheep's foot. Like, I love a sheep's foot blade. This just isn't that good-looking to me. But I do like it. It's not, like, a deal breaker, obviously, because I bought this. But... I'd much prefer the Tanto, and I guess the drop point after that. Ow, man, that fucking stud hurts. Okay, so that's the Inkosi, all right? Sorry for the rambles. And I have heard you can front flip these. I saw Kyle do it, with his, but I can't even like flick this, so I'm not even gonna try that. This is the Umnumzaan. All right, and I thought this was a way bigger knife. I kept hearing it was like a 4-inch blade or something, but honestly, it's the same size as the large Inkosi or large Sebenza. So I don't really understand all that nonsense about it being like bigger or whatever. Yeah, so that's odd to me. Yeah, so I don't really understand the size thing, but whatever. I would say out of so far the Chris Reeves I've handled, the Umnumzaan is the most comfortable in my hand. I really enjoy this in the hand. I've heard people complain about this lock bar tab and say it digs into their hand or something, but I barely even notice it. And even when I'm down here, I don't notice it. So I don't know if my finger lands in the right place or like if some people land right on that. I don't quite understand the complaint there. That feels good. I feel good in hand on this knife. I like the grip texture on it. It's got this sort of frag pattern there. The clip is off to the side. One thing you got to hate about this is the clip is on the lock bar. So you're just asking for more trouble there, right? And that's probably why this one has been locking up on me and this one hasn't. See how that shifts over to the side and it lands on the frame? But yeah, it's good in hand. I love how my thumb lands right here in this Poon spoon. And I like the hollow grind. I obviously would love the Tanto a little bit better, but this looks really good. Again, I think it looks like the Raptor sort of, or the Raptor looks like this. Love the handle shape. I mean, overall, both of these, like, that's one thing. That's why I kind of come back to Chris Reeve occasionally. They're fucking sexy. Like, I don't know. Everybody has their own tastes, guys, but like Chris Reeve knives are sexy. Right now, I'm not into the Menandi or the Impinda, I don't think, but the Sebenza and the Umnumzaan specifically, I'm not a big fan of the Inkosi finger choils, but still, overall, just sexy knives, right? I love that plain tie finish, like, just cool. I like the accents they do. Now, this knife, functionally, with the goddamn lock bar. All right, so first off, you have to be all the way down here and, like, off the lock bar so you don't lock it up. Because if you're up here, like, I want to grab the knife like this. This is how I'm used to grabbing a knife and flick it. It's so locked up right now, it hurts, right? So you can't hold it, like, comfortably. This is comfortable for me. I want to pick the knife up, and I want to start pushing the thumb stud out. Pick the knife up, start pushing the thumb stud out. It works on this one. And I think that's because of this clip being on the lock bar. I'm just putting more pressure down. So you have to back off, sort of, and then walk it out from underneath. So the fact that it's, like, difficult to open this knife really pisses me off. And I get it, learning curve. It might grow on me, whatever, right? Now, second thing I hate is this lock bar. So like I said, ergonomically, no issue. And functionally, you'd think that would be really nice. Like, they even stuck a little tab out for you. Well, the tension is so freaking stiff, and it is hard to push that over. I mean, that literally, you heard me grunt doing that. It's really smooth once you get it. Once you get it open or closed, it feels really good in hand. You can kind of use the meat of your thumb on it to push it, but even that hurts. It's leaving a mark on my goddamn finger. But it is smooth there, right? Now, the dumbest thing about this knife, and yes, I am going to call this knife dumb, is this. What the flippin' hell is that? There's a spike on the top of the knife? So now I'm a ninja? And I'm glass breaking shit. It's a glass breaker and a skull crusher and shit. Like, the fuck is going on here? This is the most tactical knife I've ever seen in my life. They even went with a double harpoon to, like, give you that even more tactical look. They give you the tab right here so you can get your gloved finger in there when you're in, combat. But come on. A spike? I didn't know that existed, and then I got it, and I was cracking the hell up on the live stream when I unboxed it last night. So not only do we have the silencer O-rings right? But if you don't want to go full stabby, you can grab your spike here and get the guy in the, pop him in the, I don't know what you would pop a guy in with that. So I'm guessing it's more for glass, which is even more ridiculous. Glass breakers on knives are so dumb, and a fucking spike sticking out of the top is even dumber. Sorry. Now, if you would have put some jipping on it and let me slow roll it out with it. Come on, I did it earlier. There we go. Slow roll that out and then walk it out. Yeah, there we go. This is dumb, okay? I don't know how anybody can take this knife seriously. It's a gas station knife. I'm sorry. Like, shit. It's like an Avatak Shadow Ranger, the greatest EDC knife of all time. Like, where's my seatbelt cutter on here? I don't see a seatbelt cutter. I got my spike, right? I got my O-rings for silencing. It's not blacked out. That's kind of weird, too. Why didn't they black it out? I don't know. Weird. But there you go. 2 gas station knives right there. All right, I'll stop messing around. I'm kidding. It's just... It's dumb. That's all. It's dumb. Ow. Fuck. Literally can't disengage this knife with one hand. Ow, fuck. I'm a pussy. Whatever. Leave the comments, please. I do like the little over travel stop down here that has Chris Reeve on it. Which is pretty cool. You guys want to take close-up looks at these? There you go. CRK. There's your fucking spike. My God. It's so funny to me. Milling looks dope as hell. I mean, guys, the finish work and the tolerance and everything, yes, nailed it. I mean, they kill it with that. That's why they're so popular, right? Centering's dead on. Just looks sexy, man. They just look good. But there's just some weird shit about them, you know? I don't know. I just think they're already making boatloads of money and they don't need help, and that's why they don't change anything, right? But, like, I would want to buy all of them if they just made some updates to the damn things. Like, just put some thumb studs that are usable on it, you know? Maybe use bearings. You don't even have to use bearings. I actually like this action. Just make it a little bit, like, not as stiff, if you know what I mean. Just make it a little more drop shut. I don't want to use that turn. I just want to be able to flick it and have it drop to my nail and close it. Like, I don't need to, I don't, like, need it to guillotine shut like a Field Duty or a Shiro or something. But just a little more than what you get. And, guys, I know there's people out there who are going to say, my tibenda drops right to my nail, and I think it twice, and it goes all the way down. No problem. Oh, look at that. We even have pivot lash. I can feel a little movement in here. You can't, but I can feel it. Feel that pivot moving around. My tibenda does all those things, Kev. Sorry. I know there's CRK guys out there, and I love you guys. I really do. If you're still watching this crazy-ass long video, I do love you if you're a Sebenza guy or a Chris Reeve guy. And like I said, I see those qualities. I don't know. Here's what I wanted to get to. Let me cut with this real quick. Very good edge, okay? So, if you spend $450 on this base, right? Base model $450 for these. You could add $50 and get a base model of this, right? You're going to say, well, Kev, these aren't fucking available, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I get it. But, I mean, these aren't as hard to get, obviously. But my point is, this knife is incredibly well made in America, just like this, so you don't have to give me that speech. It's actually made by, like, one dude in his shop, and he charges $500 for the base, which this is $450, and they have a whole shop full of people making them, and they make way more. So price seems a little off on these too, I have to say. But I know it's America, and you got to pay workers and cover their insurance and 401k and all that bullshit, so I get it. But I would much rather have this knife than any CRK, right? Like, ergonomically, it's just so comfortable in my hand. It has much better action than any of the Chris Reeves I've handled. You can slow roll it out. So you can do that if you want, and it's not going to hurt your thumb. I don't know. It's just way better. Now, obviously, size-wise, you know, but I don't know. It's just an example. There's other knives out there that are USA made. Hoback makes knives. Even if you're talking like, you know, Hinder, you know, Medford, they make knives that are just more my style, where they're a little more, I guess, for lack of a better word, they're more fidgety. But that's not what these are meant for, and I get that. So I'm going to shut up now because I'm just rambling, and I apologize to anybody, and please don't leave the comment like, you can't get one of these. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. This is my only American-made knife. No, I have the Kvist Bladeworks variant custom, and I have a Gavco custom. Those are American-made. I have a Malibu. That's American-made. So I do have others. I just sold my Medford Slim Midi, so that's gone, even though I love it. But I don't know. I don't see the hype anymore. I just don't understand it. But I think it's just guys who loved these 20 years ago are still, you know, on and on about it, and it kind of lives on because of that. And I'm not saying everybody who owns one is old or whatever. There's plenty of new guys into them. And I think the point is, and this is what my buddy last night told me who sold me this, because I was like, dude, I just can't with this fucking thing, right? And he said, dude, I knew you wouldn't like it. Like, it's not a play toy, right? And he said, I bought it so that I could take it out of my pocket, open it, make the cuts I need to cut, because it's an excellent pocket knife, right? It's an excellent knife. It does knife things really well, and I have to grant you that, right? Now, it doesn't need to be fucking painful to open or close, but it does knife things very well. It's very smooth. It's easy to maintain. It doesn't get all jacked up. And then I put it back in my pocket. That's what he said, right? And I could carry it because it's left-handed and everything. And then he said I carry a backup knife to play with. So I'm like, okay, man, that's fair enough, man. I just like to carry to play with knives. Know what I'm saying? So to each their own. I'm not down, you know, anybody who loves Chris Reeve, I get it. I can see the value, like I said, the price, but it's America, and that's just what it costs these days to make knives and sell them and still survive with, you know, an employee base and all that stuff, if you're a good employer. So I get it, right? Now, Medford, on the other hand, I don't know, about $600-700 for a Slim Midi with S35. But anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I really want to thank Ben for loaning me this. I guess I don't need to do a bunch of videos on it because I just rambled for like an hour about it. I'm probably going to just call this a Knife Ramble Chris Reeve Knives, because it's not really a review. It's just me blathering on and on. I apologize for that, guys. Anybody who made it this far, tell me, are you a Chris Reeve fan? Do you get it? If you're not a fan, is it just because it's too expensive? Or are you like me, where you like to fidget with your knives? At least to have that option. You know what I mean? Like, quiet carry knives. These aren't like ultra fidgety knives or anything, right? Like, it barely even drops to my nail. My waypoint doesn't at all, right? Yet, wow, it does drop now. Nice. It didn't drop before I cleaned it, but my waypoint doesn't, right? And I flick it out, I use it for my yard work or whatever, and then I kind of put it away. That's kind of what I do with this knife. But I have the option, at least, to give it a reverse flick, right? I have the option to thumb flick it. I have the option to sort of shake it close if I want to, right? But it's not meant for that, necessarily, right? I mean, if you wanted to, you could slow roll it out, right? And you could just do it that way. So, I don't know. That's another option here, as opposed to that Rosie I was showing you. You can actually get these pretty easily. I love the Liang Ma knives. Like, this knife to me is just as functional and useful as a tool as a Sebenza drop point is. But I have the option to give it a reverse flick, and I really enjoy that, right? I can thumb roll it if I really want to, but this is what I do all the time, is reverse flick it. Yet, it functions as well as these as a tool. And honestly, I prefer it over those as a tool. And I mean, the list goes on, sort of, right? Like, I don't want to keep pulling knives out, but I guess my point is, to each their own. Chris Reeve's not my thing. I wanted to cover it, and I covered it for fucking 40 minutes here, so I don't know how long this really is, but it's probably 40 minutes. So what I would say is, if you're like me, if your tastes sort of align with me, if you've watched my channel long enough, you probably have an idea of that, then Chris Reeve is not going to be your jam. All right? But if you're the kind of guy who likes to slow roll, right? Or, you know, again, some people can tune these up to flick really well. I don't want to, you know, assume that you can't. But it's meant to be slow rolled. And I'm talking about its stock form as well, right? Not modded or anything. If you enjoy having your thumbs beat to hell, you know, I think you would like a Chris Reeve. They are excellent cutters. The heat treat, guys, let's talk about that for 1 second. The heat treat is good. It's good S35VN. I have heard, and I have not experienced this because I didn't really use my small Sebenza that much, because it was the first, like, expensive knife I ever bought. But I've heard it's very soft, right? So it's not going to be chippy because they made it soft. But that means it needs to be sharpened more often, right? The whole notion that Chris Reeve is the master of heat treat is dumb. It's not correct. There's plenty of fantastic S35VN out there. I would argue that the S35 on, like, my Roxy 3 or my Mallory Forest is just as good as, maybe better than the S35 on here. I did use my Slim Midi a lot. That S35 was pretty good. So they're not like a step above everybody with their heat treat. That's just garbage propaganda, okay? Yeah. Anyway, so just, I think I'm done ranting. To me, Chris Reeve is like Harley Davidson, right? There's just a cult following for it, and you can't explain it. You can't ration with these people. I'm going to get comments down below saying I'm an idiot and Chris Reeve is the greatest thing on the planet, and he really does. He actually walks the steel planks. Like, he carries the plates of steel up to Mount Doom, and he fucking forges these S35VN blades to absolute perfection in Mordor, and then comes back to Chris Reeve's factory and puts these together, and that's why it's the greatest steel ever, right? The fires of Mount Doom. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm a jackass, but all right, that's it. I love you guys. Let me know what you think. Tell me I'm an asshole. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. I would love to hear why you love Chris Reeve. I'd love to hear what I left out. Like, what did I not cover? Because I'm not an expert on Chris Reeve. I'm just a schmuck on YouTube blathering about his thoughts. If you can't tell. So, educate me if you need to. But if you're just going to ramble about how awesome Chris Reeve is, I implore you, start your own YouTube channel and do what I did and just ramble about Chris Reeve knives. You don't need to do it in the comment section, but if you want to, feel free. I love all you guys. I really do, whether you like Chris Reeve or not. I'm kidding. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. And guys, I absolutely appreciate all your support. It's mind-blowing. So have a great day, and I will catch you later.